Lesson 8, Metric Conversions. Our first objective for this lesson is to be able to differentiate or tell the difference between the different metric prefixes that you will be encountering. The second thing that you want to do is be able to correlate or draw a relationship between those metric prefixes and powers of 10. And lastly, you will want to be able to convert between different metric values. Let's take a look at the metric prefixes that you may encounter. Going from largest to smallest, we have giga, which means 1 billion, and will be abbreviated as a capital letter G. Mega, which means 1 million, and is abbreviated as a capital letter M. You are probably most familiar with giga and mega in terms of computers, because of gigabytes and megabytes. You may also be familiar with mega because of the lottery, Mega Millions Lottery, which means a million. Next we have kilo, which means 1,000 and is abbreviated as a lowercase k. Hecto, which means 100 and is abbreviated as a lowercase h. Next we have deca, which means 10. And this one's a little odd because it uses a two-letter abbreviation, DA. Next we have deci, which means 1/10, and it's a lowercase d. Centi, 1/100th, which is abbreviated as a lowercase c. And milli, which is 1/1000th, which is abbreviated as a lowercase m. Notice that each one of these corresponds to a power of 10. So therefore, we're going to be using this just like we use our regular number system every day. Now remember that these are prefixes, so these are always going to occur before some other base unit. For example, you could have a milligram or a kilogram, both of which are above our base unit of a gram. Or you can have a centimeter, centi, which is before our base unit of a meter. Since these are powers of 10, it is sometimes useful to think of them this way. When we write powers of 10, usually we write them in terms of number placeholders, where we have our thousands place, hundredths place, tens place, and our ones place. And then somewhere a little bit later on in your study of math, you add decimals. So you add your tenths place, your hundredths place, and your thousandths place. By looking at the chart this way, it's going to make it a little bit easier for us to convert from one thing to another. So you will want to write the chart like this on your formula card. Let's try a couple of examples. We are first going to convert 125 millimeters to decimeters. So to do this, we first need to recognize that when we do a conversion, it doesn't matter really what the base unit is. What's going to matter is going to be our prefix. In this case, the M for milli and the D for deci. Next, in order to convert, what we're going to do is go back and look at our chart. On the chart, in order to go from milli to deci, we would go to the left, centi and then deci. Then we would go to, and we'd be going 2 places. So we're going to do the same thing with our decimal point. Now notice we don't have a decimal point, but remember it's really there. It's really 125 decimal point. So we're going to move our decimal point the same number of places and in the same direction as we would on the chart from the previous slide, and get 1.25 decimeters. Let's take a look at the next example. We have 6.2 kilometers to meters. If we take a look at our prefixes, kilometers has a prefix of K. Meters has no prefix, so notice that that is meters, it's not milli. You can't have a prefix that stands alone. It needs a base. So this is just meter. So we're going to go back to our chart and look to go from kilo to whole. And on the chart, to go from kilo to whole, we need to go 3 places to the right. We will do the same thing with the decimal point and end up with 6,200 meters.